Hi, welcome to Yoga Any Day. My name is Elizabeth Stewart. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be doing some yoga in alignment with the astrology of the new moon in Capricorn on January 12th and 13th. We'll begin by taking a look at the chart, and we'll talk about 3 of the aspects happening at this time and practice 3 hatha yoga poses representing each of those aspects. Then we'll set our intention for this new moon cycle, and then we'll do 3 vinyasas linking the energies together in a yoga flow. So the first aspect that we'll look at is the Sun and Moon Conjunct, as in every new moon, also conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. So this is the same point in Capricorn, less than a degree away, from where Pluto and Saturn were conjunct last year on January 12th, which kicked off 2020 in an astrological sense, and the representation of Pluto and Saturn with the destruction of the order, which went on all year. So as we're revisiting this point, it's particularly important that this is our first new moon of the year. A new moon is a new beginning, and we're touching back on that point from last year, so it's speaking to the relationship between 2020 and 2021. What we've been through in this whole year has been a lot of learning, a lot of hard learned lessons, and Capricorn is about learning, maturing, growing up, taking responsibility. So this is a new beginning based on what we've learned. And maybe now we can really start to apply the lessons that we learned in 2020. Conjunct Pluto, the new moon, is deep, karmic, intense. It's about power and integrity. Capricorn is the mountain and the mountain goat. We're going to be standing in our power at the top of a mountain in mountain pose. We can imagine ourselves standing tall, standing in our power, standing in our authority, with the whole weight of 2020 underneath us, because that was a mountain that we climbed. And as we're going to practice mountain pose today, I'd like to enjoy the view from the mountaintop and also look forward towards the year ahead. So coming with the feet right underneath your hips, try to have them pointing straight forward. You can space the toes out as best as you can. Try, if you can, to use the sticky mat to lay the toes down to have space between each toe. Lifting up tall through your legs. You can squeeze the leg muscles, squeeze the butt, and give your pelvis a little bit of a tuck. Feel that strength and groundedness. And then allow your spine to rise up long. And we'll just shrug the shoulders back as we're letting the energy flow up from below, giving gentle rolls back with the shoulders, loosening the tension, and then just letting the shoulders fall naturally, wide and back and down. And we can stretch the neck a little bit, looking down and looking up, reaching long through the chin. As you drop the chin down towards your chest, you can lift the chest up towards your chin as well. As you lengthen the chin up towards the ceiling, make sure you're not crunching the back of your neck, just go up. And then let your head settle in the center. See if you can find a point to look at that's at your own eye level. A lot of people tend to look a little above, a little below. See if you can find some spot right at the height of your own eyes to look at. Long, easy, controlled breaths. So what is easy and controlled? Well, enjoying the top of the mountain with the power of having climbed this far. We're calm, we're centered. We're very powerful, we're very tall. Feel the mountain underneath you. As you look out, imagine your view. Having climbed the mountain, we can appreciate how far we've come, and we can gaze forward towards our next adventure. Really feeling the strength of the legs, the height of the spine, and use your imagination to create the view that you're looking at. And just softening through your body, shrugging out a little bit the shoulders, letting your head sway side to side. And we'll come back to the chart. The next aspect that we're going to talk about is Venus in Capricorn, trine Mars and Uranus in Taurus. Venus in Capricorn is on her serious side. Again, Capricorn is about learning and maturing. So Venus is mature. She has learned. Maybe less about what she likes, what she wants, rather more about what she needs. What's the foundation? What's the basic requirement that she has to have? And she's being supported in the trine with the planets in Taurus, which is her home sign. Uranus and Mars are offering their particular strengths to Venus. Determination could be a strength of Mars, and uniqueness could be a strength of Uranus. They're offering this determination and this uniqueness through the earth sign of Taurus to Venus in the earth sign of Capricorn. It's very grounded, it's very basic. What are my fundamental needs? And when we think about what we need, those aren't choices. We don't choose what we want to need. We just need what we need. So in that way, we have to surrender some control, and we can tap in with the Uranian energy of uniqueness to recognize that we are who we are. We're each individuals. We need what we need. It's not up to us. Our job is more to have respect for ourselves and to honor ourselves rather than trying to justify or explain what we might in particular need in any given situation. So we're able to show up with our personal authority, which is Capricorn, about what we require, and this can be specifically in the realm of relationships because Mars and Venus in aspects with each other can bring up those relationship issues. It could be a relationship with yourself, recognizing your own needs, growing up and understanding that your job is to meet your own needs, right? Capricorn is also the father, so providing for yourself, and it can also be in relationship with another person. So the yoga pose that we're going to do to represent this Venus energy is a seated pose, bound angle pose. So you're going to have the soles of your feet together. You can have them far out away from you if you want, or you can slide them pretty close in towards you if that feels comfortable. Hold on to your ankles and lift up nice and tall through your spine and the top of your head. So by holding on to the ankles, you're giving yourself a good grip to be able to pull with your arms to help lift your torso up higher. When you pull with your arms, make sure your shoulders are back and down. And you can also support with your stomach, your lower back, and that big open chest can really expand for the breath. So we're pulling on the ankles with the arms, sitting up very tall. You can also rotate the pelvis back behind you to try to feel the sit bones right underneath you. And we can stretch the knees out to the sides and down towards the floor. I want to lift up all the way through your chin towards the ceiling, and we're going to bow forward and round down towards the ground. Take it easy, you don't have to go far. The idea here is that we're bowing to ourselves. That's a way of showing respect to ourselves, honoring ourselves. And the wide legs, and you can push on them a little bit with the arms if you want, if you can reach, if that's comfortable for wherever you're at. The arms can help push the knees open, and those inner thighs opening, to me, is about exposing our vulnerability, which is, well, if you're going to go after what you need, or you're going to communicate what you need in a relationship, you're exposing yourself. And we're not shy about that. We're not scared to do that. Long, smooth breaths as always. If your head reaches the ground, you can feel that nice connection with the earth. If not, you can still feel it through your pelvis and maybe through your legs. We're going to gently roll up, rolling up through the spine from the bottom to the top, so your head is the last thing to come up. And just feel that nice length again. We're back where we started. Sitting tall, pulling on the ankles, really lifting up and open and down with the legs. When you close the legs to come out of it, lean back to take the weight off of your pelvis, and then close the legs, supporting with your hands, so the inner thighs aren't given all of a sudden like a jerk. And you can always sway a little bit side to side, loosening your neck, kind of softly releasing the tension from holding the pose. And we'll come back to the chart to look at the next aspect. So the new moon, being in Capricorn, is ruled by Saturn. Saturn right now is in Aquarius, and it's conjunct Jupiter and Mercury. These three planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury, are squaring Mars and Uranus, which are conjunct each other in Taurus. Saturn and Uranus are going to have 3 squares throughout 2021. The first square, although we're coming into it now, is going to be exact in February. The second square is going to be in June, and the third square is going to be in December. So this is going to be a big theme for 2021, which has to do with the Uranian energy of uniqueness, spontaneity, individuality, and Saturn, which is structure, in Aquarius, which is about the individual and the community and the relationship between the two. So we're starting to set ourselves up already for the major astrology of 2021 with this specific aspect. And right now we've got Jupiter and Mercury next to Saturn, and we've got Mars next to Uranus. The Aquarius planets are giving a hopeful, visionary, new way of thinking, a new concept. Mars and Uranus in Taurus can be a bit of a battle with each other. It can be a struggle, it can be an injury, it can be accidents. So it's a good time to kind of take it slow and steady, just like Taurus likes. The relationship that's happening between these two kind of clumps of planets right now has to do with newness. Uranus likes to turn things on their head, especially in Taurus, because it's the earth. It's a digging, right? It's a digging up of the foundation from below. The Aquarius planets are visionary, open, airy. We're going to be practicing a headstand, which is an inversion, and is going to give us a new perspective. Now, before you get nervous, if you don't know how to do a headstand, don't worry. We're going to take it nice and easy, and you don't actually have to do a headstand along with me. I'll give you different variations. Again, slow and steady wins the race, and we're going to be finding in our inversion a new perspective. So coming into our headstand, or we can call it headstand preparation, come on to your hands and knees and then drop down to your elbows. And you're going to hold on to your opposite elbow with your hands to measure what distance you want between your elbows. Interlace the fingers. Keep the elbows at this distance. They have a tendency to splay outward, so keep them right where we just measured they should be. Drop the shoulders down away from your ears, and you can try lifting the knees, straightening your legs. Already we're bearing a fair amount of weight on the arms, and you can practice keeping the shoulders pressing down. Your head does not have to be on the ground. You can walk the feet in towards your head a bit. It's fine if your knees are bent or straight. If you're ready to have your head on the floor, go ahead and place it down. You can drop down onto your knees when you do that. We don't want to be bearing a lot of weight on our head, so just keep pressing through your shoulders and your forearms to use your arm strength rather than the weight of your head to support your body weight. Lifting the knees, walking the feet in, and we're going to go through a few different ways we can start to get into headstand. You can bend one knee into your chest. You can lift one leg up into the air. You can lift the second leg off of the ground and slowly lift it up to meet the leg that you've already lifted up into the air. If you need a break at any point, go ahead. Just re-measure the arm distance so that your elbows don't get too wide. Another way of coming into the pose is by having both knees bent into the chest with the feet off of the floor, and then slowly straightening the legs up from there. Enjoy your new perspective. We've turned upside down to see things in a new way. This is the Aquarius planets and the Taurus planets, specifically Saturn and Uranus, but also Mercury giving us that sort of clear thinking, the new way of thinking, the new perspective, a new concept maybe. So as you're upside down, see things in a new way. Allow yourself to notice what you see. When you're ready to come down, there are again a couple of ways you can come down. You can bend both knees down into your chest and then lower them down to the ground. You could just drop one foot down and let the second foot follow. Or if you want to get fancy, you can bend at the hips and slowly bring the legs parallel to the ground, and then lower them with control, keeping the legs straight all the way down to the ground. Any way to come down is fine. We're going to take a little rest here, sitting back on the heels with the tops of the feet on the floor, resting your head on the ground and bringing the arms back by your sides. Notice your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Relax. Giving yourself time. Gently coming up by pressing the palms into the ground, straightening the arms, slowly rolling up and letting your head rise up. Again, giving yourself time. Just pause. So we're going to come around to a sitting position. Feel free to sit however is most comfortable for you. And we're going to be setting our intention for this new moon cycle. It's always nice to set an intention or plant a seed of intention at every new moon. But also because this is the first new moon of 2021, we can set our intention and plant our seed of intention for the whole year. I'd like for us to plant the seed of intention to apply what it is that we learned in 2020. You might think, well, I don't know exactly what I learned. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you learned one thing, and you don't necessarily have to be able to list exactly what you learned. But we went through a lot in 2020, and we did learn. When we really learn, it's because we apply the lessons. Then we can move on. We don't have to learn it again. We're already on to the next step, bringing with us what we went through. You can bring the palms together, setting this intention for yourself to apply what you've learned to the best of your abilities at every step. Allowing the hands to rise up, all the way up, 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 looking up. Allowing the arms to open out to the sides and down until the fingers touch the ground. Planting the seed through the fingers into the earth. And resting the hands back on the knees. And we're ready to begin our vinyasas. The first one that we'll do will come around onto the hands and knees. And you can step 1 foot forward. Try to straighten that front leg. If you can have your hands on the ground and your back straight, that's great. If not, come on up with your torso and just hold on to the wall or a piece of furniture for support. You can also have your hands on the ground and have the front knee bent. Keeping your spine nice and straight, looking forward. If you can come down a little bit lower, you can bring both hands along the inside of that front leg. You can bring the palms all the way down. And no matter where you are, I want you to start rounding down through your spine, allowing your head to hang down, getting a nice deep stretch in the front leg. This pose is representing the Venus trine Mars and Uranus energy, bowing down to honor our needs. Coming back up, we're going to lean the hips forward into a lunge. You can have the back knee down on the ground, or you can lift the knee up so the back leg is straight. If your hands can stay on the floor and your chest can be open and looking forward, that's good. If you want a little bit easier time, you can bring one forearm up onto your front knee, both forearms up onto your front knee, or you can lift your chest all the way up and use a wall or some furniture for support. Wherever you are, open your chest, be very strong and open and looking forward. This pose is representing our new moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn energy. We're on the top of the mountain, we've achieved a lot, and we're open to the future. Next, we're going to step that back foot on an angle so the foot is totally flat and roll the chest open, reaching the top arm up towards the ceiling. If you can keep the hand on the ground, that's great. Or if you want to have your elbow resting on the front thigh, that's fine too. This is our Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury square Mars and Uranus energy, which is giving us a new perspective and is opening up our vision to the future. To come out of it, slide that top arm forward and down, and we're going to come all the way back around into our kneeling with the front leg straight pose, rounding over it, and then coming forward into our lunge, looking forward with an open chest, And then turning the back foot so it's flat on the ground and rolling the top arm up to the ceiling. I'm demonstrating pretty quickly here. You don't need to go that fast. If you want to do 5 breaths holding each pose before you move on to the next one, that's totally fine. This whole new moon cycle, as I said, in terms of the Capricorn energy, is really about maturity. So you know best what pace is right for you. Listen to yourself, find your own flow. Listen to that front leg as you stretch it when you round down. Open your chest with strength when you're in the lunge. And really look up as you roll open and reach that top arm up, finding a new perspective. And when you're done with whichever cycle you're on right now, just come onto your hands and knees and sway the hips gently a little bit from side to side, loosening them up, releasing any tension, and then stepping the opposite foot up. So we'll straighten that front leg, keeping the spine nice and straight. Again, don't be shy to lift up if that's more comfortable for you, and hold on to something if you need. If you can have the palms flat on the inside of the leg, that would be going pretty far, but that's good. And then we're going to bend the elbows and round down, allowing the front leg to get a nice deep stretch, bowing down to what we need. And then coming forward into the lunge. The back knee can be down on the ground, or it can lift up with the back leg straight. You can have the hands on the ground. You can have one arm up on the front leg, both arms up on the front leg, or hold on to a wall and lift up all the way with your torso upright. Wherever you are in your lunge, open your chest, be very strong. This is our new moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. It's intense, it's open, and it's new. Be brave, be strong, look forward. And then turning that back foot on an angle so the whole foot is flat on the ground, rolling the top arm up to the ceiling and looking up. And again, if you want to prop yourself up on the front thigh with your elbow, that's great. Otherwise, you can keep the hand all the way down onto the ground. Either way, this is our Uranus and Mars, square Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury. It's our fresh perspective. So allow yourself to really turn, rotate, and discover what you see as you look up at that hand. Then we're going to reach the arm over your head to bring it back down and slide back, straightening the front leg again, first with your flat back, and then bending the elbows and rounding down, listening to the feelings of the front leg that's getting a deep stretch here. Rocking forward, coming into the lunge, whichever lunge you're doing, that's good for you for today. You would know best. Turning the back foot on an angle, rolling open, lifting up through that top arm and looking up. Reaching the arm over your head and down to come out of it, dropping back down onto the back knee and straightening the front leg again. Find your own rhythm. Faster isn't better, slower isn't better. Your own rhythm is better for you. That's maturity. I feel like when we're young, we want to conform, and then if we mature, as we mature, we just want to be ourselves, and that's the best. For any of these flows, feel free to coordinate with the breath in whichever way feels right for you. I'm not going to give a prescription, inhale into this pose, exhale into that pose, but you can try it if you want. See what feels right for you. And when you've reached the end of that cycle, coming back onto the hands and knees and swaying the hips from side to side again, just loosening up. For the next vinyasa, we're actually going to start lying flat. And we're going to come all the way down, lying flat on the belly. Turn your head to one side and just give yourself a full rest here. Noticing the movement of the belly against the floor, feeling grounded. There's a lot of earth energy in this new moon, so we'll be doing a lot of grounding. And for our next vinyasa, you can bring the hands under your shoulders and push all the way back into Devotional Pose, sitting back onto the heels with the arms stretched forward. Allow your head to drop down. This is our Venus, trine the planets in Taurus, grounded, supported, knowing what she needs, listening to herself. And we're going to slide all the way forward onto the belly from here and push up into upward dog. If you can't skim along the ground with your elbows bending, that's okay. You can kind of hover and then plop down with the pelvis first and then roll down through the torso. Or you can come from devotional, from sitting on your heels, onto your hands and knees, and then just go straight into upward dog, letting the hips fall forward and down, opening up with your chest. However you come into it, once you're in upward dog, make sure that the arms are really squeezing strong and straight, the shoulders are back, the chest is high, and you're reaching long through your chin. This is our new moon, Pluto and Capricorn energy. We're at the top of the mountain, big open chest. If it's too much for your neck, feel free to tuck your chin down towards your chest. Otherwise, really reaching up. And then from here, we're going to flow back into downward dog. You can just tuck your toes under, lift your whole body up and back at once. Or you can come back onto your hands and knees and then tuck the toes under and lift the knees up and back. Feel totally free to have your knees bent in downward dog. I'm all for focusing on the torso, getting that big diagonal line in it before you worry too much about straightening the legs. If you want to straighten the legs, just do it slowly, reaching the heels down and the sit bones up. This is our Uranus and Mars, square Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury. It's our fresh perspective. It's an inversion. We're upside down. Notice something new. And then coming back all the way down into devotional, just bending the knees and putting the tops of the feet on the ground and sitting back, or coming onto the hands and knees, then putting the tops of the feet on the ground, and then sliding all the way back. Sliding, scooping, or falling forward into upward dog. And then lifting up and back into downward dog. And keep flowing between these three poses. Devotional is Venus. Upward dog is our Pluto new moon. And downward dog is our Aquarius and Taurus planets, giving us a fresh perspective. Long, smooth breaths, coordinated with the movement, or just keep flowing with the breath as you move. I'm picking up my pace here a little bit. Feel free to go fast if you want. You can take on the challenge. This new moon is in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Saturn likes a challenge. Capricorn is up for a challenge, so challenge yourself if you feel up for it. And coming back into devotional when you're ready, just resting here again for a minute. Noticing your heartbeat. Feel free to bend the elbows if the arms being straight feels tense. Make sure your neck is nice and loose. And for our last vinyasa, we'll come all the way around, lying down on the ground on your back. We'll just take a pause here, allowing your body to drop into the ground. For some of you, you may be doing wheel pose in this next vinyasa. So if you think you might want to do some wheel, then let's rotate through the wrists and stretch them a bit. If you don't want to do wheel, don't worry. I'll give you a different pose and you can just enjoy lying on the floor here. The first pose for this vinyasa is opening the legs straight out to the sides. Try to keep your torso totally relaxed and anchor your lower back down using your stomach. If it's too intense for the legs to be straight out, you can bend the knees, and you can also support the weight of the legs with your hands. This is our Venus, Trine, Mars, and Uranus pose. It's vulnerable, it's open, it's not shy about what it needs. Then we're going to flow into Pavana Muktasana, wind reliever pose. One knee bent in, the other leg hovering above the ground, straight down. Hold the top leg and pull your head up towards your knee. Squeeze your stomach, push your shoulders down. And when we switch the legs, we're actually going to switch to the other side. Feel free to lie back down with your head if you feel like your neck is getting tired. Once the other leg is in, hold it with your hands and then roll the head up, reaching your head towards your knee. Squeeze your stomach, push your shoulders down. And then bending both knees, having the feet flat. We're all going to start with bridge pose, scooping and rolling up through the spine. This is our Aquarius planets square our Taurus planets. It's our fresh perspective. And I want you to focus on the chest if you're doing bridge pose. Look at your chest. It's a new perspective on your chest with your chest lifting up like that. Seeing yourself in a new way. And gently rolling back down. Opening the legs out to the sides again. Strong, open, reaching, not afraid to expose yourself. And our wind reliever pose, holding onto the bent knee and rolling up. I forgot to mention that this is our new moon and Pluto and Capricorn pose. It's kind of a lot of work, this pose. If you're flexible and you're able to bring your knee really far in, don't bring it in too far. We want a challenge here. Keep it a little bit far away, and then you have to work to pull your head up towards it. You're achieving your own goal, so make it a little hard. Feel your stomach getting tired here. Rolling back down, and you can either come back into bridge, so just lifting up through your hips, or you can bring your your hands back by your ears and push the arms straight all the way up into wheel. This is our Uranus and Mars square Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury. Look at your new perspective on yourself here if you're doing wheel by trying to look towards the floor and looking at your own hands. It's a fresh perspective on yourself. If you're in bridge pose again, looking at your chest and rolling back down and opening the legs out to the sides again. Keep going through these poses at your own pace. When you do the wind reliever pose with one knee bent in and the other leg out, do one side and then the other side. And then move into bridge or wheel, your choice. There's a seriousness in the astrology for this new moon. It's conjunct Pluto, it's in Capricorn, and it's setting the tone for the whole year. Move with purpose, move with intention, and don't forget to apply everything that you've learned with every step. Or if you're practicing yoga, maybe it could be with every pose or with every breath. Finding your vulnerability and your needs, finding your strength and your power, and being open to the future and a new perspective. When you're done with that cycle, slide the legs down along the ground, and we'll rest in Shavasana for a while. Just noticing the movement of the breath in your belly. See if you can feel the whole body at once. There's a definition of a yogi or yogini as someone who keeps all of their energy inside their body. I think it's also the ability to keep your awareness inside of your body. Awareness is energy and space. It's all the same thing, right? Feeling yourself completely is mastery of yourself, in a sense. It doesn't mean that we can control how we feel, but at least we can know. We've been through a lot, and we can come into our mastery fully. Know that the intention that you set today will carry you forward all year. I'm so thankful for you guys joining me today. If you're interested in learning more, I teach private classes, I make personalized videos. You can contact me. My email is yogaanyday@gmail.com. Take care. Be well.